everyone, my name is Nkululeko Mahlangu and I work as a Business Development Officer for the Center for Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator that is based in Sibande, in Mpumalanga at Sibande TVET College. What I do as a Business Development Officer is exactly that. I try to develop businesses. We take businesses from conceptualization to actual help them to be able to trade. We help them with access to markets, we help them with access to finance, we help them with mentorship and coaching, we help them with management accounts, financial management. That is part of our role. We also do entrepreneurship training for entrepreneurs.
My name is Masego. I am also a Business Development Officer at the Sibande TVET College in the Center for Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator. So basically, Nkululeko and myself, we do the same thing, you know. Working in the center has been interesting. I'm thinking that you've been watching a series of our discussions in the previous episodes that have been playing. And maybe you're wondering, who are these people that are actually driving these whole discussions? And who are the people who are actually behind all these entrepreneurs that have been profiled? So yeah, it is the both of us. Well, our journey with this department is quite interesting, you know. What you see now, it is something that I can proudly say we have started. We have seen it grow, face the challenges. There were really hard times in this place. But it's quite unfortunate that this is the only part you see, but we are based in a business incubator. I think later on we'll take you through business incubation. It's still fairly new to other people, so I would like to discuss it and describe it to you guys so that you understand what is a business incubator and what it looks like. But I feel before I talk about the center, I'd like to share my story. Who is Zenita? Zenita now is actually in Mpumalanga. She's well known for what she does, the impact and the role she's played in all of the small businesses that I've worked with and helped to develop. But my story goes way back. I was actually born and raised in Johannesburg. I grew up in Bes Valley. I went to high school in Kensington Secondary School, finished my grade 12 there. And then after grade 12, I used to go and visit my mom at her workplace. And she works for one of the big companies. She used to work for one of the big companies in Sandton. So I knew Sandton. I would go visit there. And, whenever I walk around, the IT department was so, there was all of those softwares, those computers. I was so fascinated. And I didn't even put much thought into it. I just told myself I wanted to work there. And I asked my mom, what happens there? She's like, no. Lapazini, it's IT. I was like, IT. And then the first thing that I did, I passed well. I went to Intech. And through Intech, I enrolled for Information Systems Management. The name was so glamorous. I was so excited. When my former students would ask me, what are you studying? It was almost like, IT. I think it was until I actually got my books, when my books were delivered, because remember, Intake, it's long distance learning. So when my books were delivered, and here I am, and I'm opening these test books, I'm like, this thing is just not speaking to me. Right there and then in that moment, I'm paging, I'm seeing all of this programming, I'm seeing your JavaScripts. I was like, God, no, what did I get myself into? Bear in mind, I completed school in 2007. This was now 2008. I got my books, and fortunately, I was studying through a bursary. I got a bursary, and then it paid for everything. I had my computer, I had my printer, I had my cell phone. So there's nothing that I would say they short. But now when they short, there was no passion for what I was actually enrolled for. But then I attempted it, I studied, but after writing my exams, I didn't do as well. So I told my mom that, Mom, I just can't, I can't continue with this. But my mom didn't understand. Mom, they would actually bonke mhlambe singathi bazi ngale ndlela, maybe abafunanga ngaleyo ndlela, they always wanted to make sure that we get the best. So that was the case. So I wrote my exams, but then unfortunately I didn't pass because of the IT. I was struggling because I was on my own. And then I decided to take a break. So whilst I was doing the studies, I was also modeling. I did a bit of modeling. Then I modeled, and I was also exposed to a world that didn't speak to my ethics. Nangendlela engikhulise ngayo ekhaya. So, you know, Johannesburg is so congested. You know, a lot is happening in Joburg all at once. And I was fortunate, maybe and unfortunate, to be exposed to all of that. But then I'm always grateful, Uguti, I found a way to escape before. I don't know, I could have maybe destroyed myself because the drugs were there. That industry was quite, you know, I mean, I've been say beginner, but I was exposed. There were like drugs, there was alcohol, there was violence, and then there was also a harassment. Remember, in modeling, it's almost like it's a studio. And when you're busy posing for the pictures, utindwa noma kanjani, and you know, you fight against that, you told Guti, you signed up for it. So after that, I decided to take a break from Johannesburg. And then I moved to Mpumalanga. Now, my moving, it was my circumstances, gagogo. They were not as easy for my two siblings. So I decided, you know what, Mom, whilst there's this, can I take a break and go home? Ekhaya, which is Brayton in Guazanele. It's a small town here in Mpumalanga. I decided to go there. Remember, like from Joburg, you go to Brayton, the dusty streets, Gusabasa, you know, there's some look up in Kuni, Basanga Malasa. You know, young in the Joburg, I decided to go there. And then when I went there, I felt at home. And then I wanted to do something there instead of going back to Joburg. Now, that's where my journey started for you to see Zinita here.
My name is Kudilego Matlang, as I've said. I'm born and raised in Brayton, here in Mpumalanga, in one of the locations, a very small location, but has produced great people, such as your Nas Puata, your Nkosi Khatebe, your man. I'm from that town, but I just wanted to give you a bit of background of the person you see sitting in front of you today and the person where I come from. I remember me and business, I was born in the business. When I grew up, my father owned like four tuck shops, and everything went well, and I was involved in those businesses for some time. I was selling, when I was the one in the account, and I was very young at that time. Until one day, it vanished. Everything my father owned, four tuck shops, vanished. Broke. We did not even understand what was happening. And I remember from studying in multiracial schools, we had some had to compromise and go back to Kasi. You would try to be a Lukshin, your fundi Lukshin, and it was very, very difficult for us because we were so used to this particular life of Model C schools and all of that. And from everybody knowing that you guys, you by Niazi were to not having anything, at some times not even knowing what you're going to eat in Tambam for a very long time. And I had an opportunity then because I was playing sports, I was playing rugby, and I was fortunate that I got a bursary as well to go and continue with my studies in Hendrinacha Combinary School. It's an African school. Just because I played good rugby, me and my brother, we played rugby, so we were fortunate that we got that opportunity to go and play. So the school part was sorted, but things at home were not sorted. We still were poor. When I mean poor, I mean I know what is it of ongoing few days without having food, months without even having electricity. Remember, bear in mind that at that time we were known for having things within the community, and self-confidence was no longer there. You didn't feel like you belong, like a lokshin when people look at you and say, and you thought it but a shame. But those are things that were happening. Remember, at some point I even moved around without even having shoes. That was the level of poverty that one was exposed to. And until one day, I'd always, until 2006 when I finished school, I decided to do business administration through in tech as well. I did that particular qualification until N4. I couldn't, because that day you had to pay. After doing that, I then went to work for a bakery delivering bread. I think that for me that was the most exciting part of my journey. That's where it all started. What you see today, the understanding that I have today. I call myself a business development officer. The excitement of being in the business world started that day. I got my first job working at a bakery, and fortunately now remember the particular bakery that I worked for was a well-known bakery. But before I even get into that, I would like just to hand it over to Zenita to exactly tell us how did she get to Mpumalanga and then continue with her story there.
And you know, when Nkululeko, funny enough, many people would leave and go and look for opportunities in Johannesburg. But then for me, it's the other way around. I left Johannesburg and I thought that I wanted to start something afresh in Mpumalanga. So initially, that's where we met. When I got to Mpumalanga, you know, I was just involved. I was hands-on. It was the times of Love Life, Groundbreakers, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a youth center in Brayton. And then I don't recall what I was in the youth center, but we led that together with Nkululeko. That is where we met. Maybe formal. Before that, it was just another guy, Kasi, that you know. But when I met Nkululeko there, we led together a youth center. From the youth center, I enrolled at the TVET college, which is the Sibande TVET college. And I started my NCV. Level 2.
Strange enough.
And one of the worst thing is, you know, people do not understand. I had grade 12 already, but I actually wanted to start over. That's where when I went for career guidance, and then when I told them what I wanted, the lady was so fascinated. He's like, Zenita, you do well, go marketing. And then I enrolled for marketing. I studied marketing. And that is where we met. We're in the same class. So from Ekasi to being in the same class.
Well, from a youth center to being actually in the same class. Oh no, we're in different classes. I don't remember, the first year you were in the A group, I was in the B group, but the following year, because people didn't do well, we ended up with one class.
It was compressed to one class.
It was compressed to one class. And yeah, I think from there our friendship grew. I mean, we were very close together as students. And the nice thing, we were competitive students. We were not just average students. We were very competitive students in terms of. Then it happened that I convinced you to join SRC. Right? I remember I said, no man, go and try, because I was highly involved in politics at that time. Even in the location. Ekasi, I was, you know, just political structures. Sure. I was there, and from there, I said, now, hey, come, man, you must go and lead there. You've led most of the youth center. What's stopping you from leading at?
And you fetched me from class. I remember that, and I went. I think for the first year, I went to the SRC. Well, fortunately, I was pregnant. So I couldn't lead. So I withdrew my what's it, an application?
Your application, yeah.
Yeah, I withdrew. That was 2013. So I couldn't go on. But then 2014, I went back to the SRC and I was an academic director. And then when you were the campus president and the college president.
Yeah, then that's where we start. 2014, after finishing, I remember we were discussing at the SRC office saying, "Ish, what's next?" Because once you did your NCV now, then you have your level 4. What's next? We are proud TVET graduates. We always tell people that we are very proud TVET graduates. What you see in front of you is we've been built by this system. It works. It works. And I remember we were sitting there asking ourselves, what's next? What's next for us? Then our previous boss, our first boss.
She was our lecturer for communication.
Yeah, she was our lecturer who was lecturing us communication. Was recently appointed to establish a Center for Entrepreneurship. Now, that's where we are now. Now, interesting enough, and people who will be shocked, she was also from Brighton, you know. And I remember at one stage, she said, this is a Brighton community and working here. And she came to us and said, guys, what's your plans for next year? What are you guys doing? I've got this huge center that I must establish. I've been just appointed. That was 2014. And we said, no, we're on. No way, we're on. Because she had given us something to do.
Sure.
And now
at that time, we just wanted something to do. Yeah.
I remember saying, no, I'll pay from my own pocket. And for us, that was interesting. And for the first day, we got there, we didn't even know where to start. We just sat there, we were busy with research this, research that, research this. And yeah.
No, at that time, remember, the Center for Entrepreneurship, I think we were the third center in the country. Second. Yeah. And then basically there were no systems yet. There was nothing. Like we started from a room, this room is even big. It was a small room, like one room, you know that one room you're a student when you're still looking for res accommodation. There were only 4 student desks and student chairs. And then we had to, like basically the first paper we developed, we only had the business plan of this place and we took everything from the business plan. And it was just 3 of us. No, there were 4 of us when we started. And, you know, looking at this place as it is now, you know, it took a lot for us to get here. Remember that when we started, we were not paid. It was end of 2015. We started, officially we were appointed as volunteers on the 2nd of February. That was 2015.
I still even have my voluntary letter that was given to say, this is your, I'm appointing you as a volunteer at the center.
And I think that, you know, the lesson from this, you know, we saw an opportunity, we took it. There was nothing, maybe there was no money. We were not getting paid. I think we worked for almost a year.
And we were traveling, by the way. You had to travel to work. Without any, you were staying in Brighton, you were studying in Emelo. Sure. I had to move from Brighton and go and stay with friends in Emelo so that I can be close by, because
there was no income.
There was no income and there was no way I was going to survive. And yeah.
And we did it. You know, when I look at this place, I'm like so proud. I'm so proud of myself, of us. You know, we did it. And also bearing in mind, here we came, our qualifications were out.
Marketing.
We're doing marketing. You know, the nice thing with TVET, as much as we're majoring in marketing, there was also office administration. So that one played a big role because we developed a whole lot of documents, the systems, we were part of it. And then finally, we launched the Center for Entrepreneurship. That was on the 13th of March, 2015, on my birthday. I got to celebrate it that way. But it was launched, it was a big launch. That was the first biggest event that I've ever
attended, yeah.
No, also like maybe planned.
Yeah. We planned that the whole launch ourselves. From the invites of the ministers, the invites of the mayors, the whole concept, the gifts, making sure. It was a whole, and that taught us about event management or event planning. That episode on its own created an opportunity to say, okay, but we can do this.
Sure.
You know, there's nothing stopping us from going for event management.
And on that day, the center, it was launched by the then former minister, Ulindiwe Zulu. She was there, you know, she was the one who launched the center. But bear in mind, back then it was only a center for entrepreneurship. So it was actually smaller than what it is now, because there we didn't have the component of incubation. But then it was only later in 2016. It was 2018 when we moved to Evander in June. 2018 now we had to launch the second component of the center. So from it being a center to it being an incubator. So, but remember, when we started, you were appointed as a research
and stakeholder management.
Stakeholder management, and I was marketing. So I guess I was still in the marketing. But then as as time went, we like later appointed as interns. Before we came here, still in ML, we were interns.
Yeah, we interned for a good 6 months.
Know, we entry level intern, not much, but hey, it was big to us.
Yeah, we celebrated, moving from nothing to 3.5.
Yeah.
And I remember, 3.5. Wow, I didn't to see thinking, you know, it was that excitement. We are moving now. We have this salary, we call it a salary because it was coming in every month.
Yeah.
And then later on, 2018,
we came to Evander.
No, 2017, we are appointed as
Business
development officers. But bear in mind, we had to go for training for that. We are, both of us, we are internationally accredited business advisors. Don't think we're not fly by night. We because maybe some of you, maybe some of you would say, hey, these guys, they're moving interns to business advisors. We went for training. We are growth wheel certified. That is the standard that we use here in the space of in CEDA. In order for you to become a business advisor, you have to go through that particular training. Both of us went through that. We got certified. We got our licenses to become business advisors, and that's when we started working. We started.
Now we're officially appointed. Now the real money was coming in.
Not real money, but
it depends how you define real money. But then that's where you were actually getting paid.
Exactly, and you're like,
there were like zeros.
Yeah.
And the excitement.
The excitement. Yeah. Look, we've made it. But going back to business, as I said earlier, that I will come back and explain the story. The baker that I was working for is Albany Bakeries. Those are the first guys who gave me my
first paycheck.
First 200 rand a week. I'm holiday. What you used to do? Wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, go and deliver bread. After delivering bread, 10 o'clock you are done. You go back, you go and count money. That's what the business, the business side of me. And said, but this concept is very interesting. And I remember I started working in MLO. I moved from MLO. They sent me to Brighton, where I was born, where I was raised, to go and deliver bread there, where I was raised. Definitely. No, because there's something in CB's relation. It's your daily bread that you get from Alban. But also you didn't understand. Remember, and as I told you, at home they were so poor to a point that they couldn't even afford bread at that particular time. And the minute I worked at Albany, I was excited because I was going to deliver bread every day. The saying that says, for me it was literally that. Every day they knew there's a lot of bread. There's a lot of bread coming in. But at the very same time, I started to understand business. I started to understand. This is what made my father go broke. This is how we lost all our businesses. That's what said to me, no, go to school and study and understand how business works. Sure. It's because the failures of my father, my father's businesses, when I saw them collapse, it was because the lack of marketing, the lack of financial management, all of those things. And I realized that because I was in this institution now where I saw real money, people cashing in thousands and thousands and thousands. Now, you remember, at Albany, you can go buy bread. Okay, if you have a shop, you just call them. They deliver bread. You're going to collect on Thursday. Then you sit and collect. The balancing part of things. It was
very practical.
It was very practical. Before I even went to school, I had already done that. I was Umholi. Umholi is an assistant. That ignited me to go to Eskolweni. That's when I went to GS and where we met academically and where it all started. Then until 2014 in the SRC, I remember very well, we were sitting in the SRC. We spoke about, but what is the college doing? Because remember, you're advocating for students. In one of the statements you say is that, what is this college doing to empower its own? Because now it has so many graduates.
Sure.
Our college is second in South Africa. Now it produces a high number of graduates.
Where are they going?
Where are they going? Exactly. Which industry? I remember at one point there was a TVET CEO where Zenita raised the thing in all. There was CEOs, ministers. She stood up and said, "But we are not happy what is happening. We are graduates, but these industries that you've invited are not absorbing us just because we studied NCV." Later, you got a call from the CEO.
Yeah, I think, the best thing that I could have done for myself, and then thanks for even that, I didn't think about it until now. It was joining the student leadership,
Yes.
We were one of the SRC that was vocal, we went to knock doors. I remember even the district municipality, the Sibande district municipality, it was just being finished to be built. That building is so nice.
So beautiful.
Yeah. And then I thought, I want our farewell to be there. It has never been done before. I think even people were still even afraid to approach that building. And then we went there, and we went to the mayor then. Who was the mayor?
Yeah. Ntabat, I think, I don't know. I can't even remember what the mayor at the time.
Yeah, and we went to the office of the mayor. We asked, "Hi, mayor, want to bring our event here?" And then I think by the way we presented it, we got the opportunity.
They even sponsored a t-shirt.
Yeah, we were even sponsored. And I think that's where it all started, just knocking on doors. And then later on, it wasn't just knocking on doors for ourselves, but then it was for students. Well. Then later, it was for our own incubatees in the center. Being in the space, we've seen a lot of businesses that have started and failed, but then some of them, they actually continue to flourish even now, They are making a turnover of above 5 million, from 0 to 5 million minimum. So, I think we still have a lot to share. We'll continue to share it, but unfortunately, this is where we're going to wrap it up for now. And then just stay tuned for our part 2 as we continue to tell our story. Kwamanje, bye-bye.